ليلهم الخوف والكوابيس والخيانة، ليلهم الخوف والكوابيس والخيانة. نحنا قدامنا الصباح، نحنا قدامنا الصباح، نحنا قدامنا الصباح، نحنا قدامنا الصباح. ليلهم الخوف والكوابيس والخيانة، ليلهم الخوف والكوابيس والخيانة. ونحنا قدامنا الصباح، نحنا قدامنا الصباح، نحنا قدامنا الصباح، نحنا قدامنا الصباح.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us from wherever you are in the world. Before I begin, I'd like to acknowledge that this event is held primarily in Borlu on sovereign Wajak Noongar Boja. I'd like to pay my respects to elders past and present, and to First Nations people across the continent of so-called Australia. Gedamna Sabah Cultural Forum, as a group of settler refugees, extends our solidarity to First Nations people across this continent and across the world, and acknowledges that the systems which allow us relative safety here in so-called Australia are the same ones which create oppression and dispossession in this settler colony. We recognize that sovereignty was never ceded. This is and always was and always will be Aboriginal land. Gedamna Sabah Cultural Forum is concerned with creative and cultural work and the edification of its intersections with civil political resistance. This forum is committed to human rights issues and the effective role of the arts in political and social change. This event we're holding today, during International Human Rights Day, is to raise awareness of the situation in Sudan and to practice active and radical solidarity. Today, you'll hear from poets across the world as they share their poems for Sudan. But Sudan is not the only place that's facing atrocities. So we would like to acknowledge all of the genocides, seen and unseen, everything that our siblings are experiencing across the world, whether it's in Chad or Palestine, and we would like to pay our respects and extend our solidarity. Today, you'll be hearing from fabulous poets and artists from around the world. Our next speaker is Dr. Viviane Juguero. Dr. Juguero is a dramatist and educator with plays, films, and songs and articles staged, published, and broadcast in Brazil and abroad. Her PhD and postdoc, one completed in Brazil and with a postdoc completed in Norway, addresses her radical dramatology concept focused on the intrinsic social role of artistic discourses. She is part of, and please forgive me in my terrible pronunciation, my Portuguese has not improved since we last spoke, Bando de Brincatas, Black Writers, and as a dramaturgy collective in Brazil. She works as a teacher at the with the University of Auckland in New Zealand and other international networks, and she's part of the Black Theatre, the Nordic Black Theatre network in Norway. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here again. I'm honored to be part of this movement called Poetry for Sudan. I really believe that the arts are the way that we have to change the world from the roots. So because of that, I think it's deeply meaningful what you do. And I really feel very attached with the situation in Sudan. Brazil is the second blackest country in the world We have a huge Afro-descendant community here. I work a lot with Black theater in Brazil, and internationally, as you said, I'm part of the Nordic Black theater in Norway as well, and in many other countries. And these beautiful bonds of generosity. I guess sometimes we need to speak loud about how many people are engaged in sharing good perceptions of the world, and understanding that the cultural roots are the reason for everything, for the good and for the bad. So we need to change culture. I love a sentence by Mahatma Gandhi that says, "The world has enough for everyone's need, but not for everyone's greed." So we need to understand that the way we guide our emotions and our values are based on our cultural perceptions. So yeah, I have been dedicating my life to study that, and I'm glad to share with you that I have a scientific huge study on that was published at the Journal of Art and Research in Norway last week. So I shared with you the link in the chat. So if you can share with people in the Facebook page, I think we need to understand that we are aesthetic beings. We have been discussing many ways to change the world, and we have these relevant and impact and important sustainable development goals from the United Nations. But almost never they mention culture, only one time as heritage. And we need to understand that our cultural perceptions are our roots in this world. We are aesthetic beings. So we need to perceive that it's the way to change what we are, the way we are perceiving the world. And yeah, I also pay my respects to all people in Sudan and in other parts of the world, in Palestine, and also the civilians in Israel, and all people among many wars, and even in Brazil, because we don't have a war, but we, especially Black young men, they are murdered in Brazil more in all the wars together. And we need to speak loud about that. We need to speak loud about violence against women in Brazil, and trans people and LGBTQA+. But we have hope, and we can see many things that are changing. So I would like to share with you a poem that I wrote for Poetry for Sudan, and I have the pleasure to say that it was translated into 15 languages. And I recorded this poem with some partners who work with me in Bando de Brincantes, that you said very well, in Brazil. So I would like to share this video with you if possible. I don't know if you have the link. I sent the link to, but here, yeah. So please.
Percussive vibrations for Sudan. Oppressed people of Sudan, we hear you. Children of Sudan, we resonate with you. Inside the womb, the beating of a heart, the first sound patterns for life to start. In every human, universal echoes claim. Percussive rhythm allows experiences to remain. When winds reap distorts values and emotions, the drumming beats lose their balance, making noise. Abominable actions become chosen options. The sound of love turns into a broken voice. Percussive gunshots reverberate with dread. Percussive bones echo the vibes of death. How can winners boast about what they have led? Ceasing lives, young and old, in one breath. Oppressed people of Sudan, we hear you. Children of Sudan, we resonate with you. Each individual resonates in the community. Each community resonates with the entire world. So why can't we perceive a coherent unity and generous ears to hear the stories to be told? Amidst natural disasters, hunger, wars, rich countries display gardens with plenty of flowers, nurtured by past and present blood and scars, from the people who they abuse to build their power. Now, comfortably watching the news on the couch, they try to dry the ocean of their cathartic sad tears under the beating of popcorn to fill their mouth, switching to the football to cheer, avoiding fears. The bright percussive sound of bumping coins guides the path of this selected empathy. Since some brutalities call compassion to get a joy, and others don't deserve a glance of sympathy. How can powerful nations just close their eyes while an enslaved child works until she dies? Babes starving, raped women, abused elderly, violence, and on the top, international forces and their deadly silence. Oppressed people of Sudan, we hear you. Children of Sudan, we resonate with you. Sudan, enchantable, gorgeous land of pyramids of hope. Your rich culture is in contrast with your sorrow. The entire world should bring you a better tomorrow in the harmonic rhythm of a future to unfold. May oppressed people's hope result in trust. May the wind of justice clean the evil dust, which is hiding your fantastic cultural heirlooms and hindering new ones from blooming soon. Percussive vibrations sound for Sudan from the snow, and the rumble of ancestral roots to a lasting hill. May your new tapestry display colors of joy, a better place for every girl and each boy. Oppressed people of Sudan, we hear you. Children of Sudan, we resonate with you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Juguero, for the most wonderful poem. And we will also share the link on Facebook for both the poem and the article. The poem is, as mentioned, available in multiple languages, and the article is free to view, which is incredible. Thank you so much. I'm always here for accessible academia, so thank you for creating that. And yeah, we'll share that through our Facebook group and through the Gedamna networks as well. Thank you so much for joining us today.
ليلوم الخوف والكوابيس والخيانة، ليلوم الخوف والكوابيس والخيانة، نحنا قدامنا الصباح، نحنا قدامنا الصباح، نحنا قدامنا الصباح، نحنا قدامنا الصباح، ليلوم الخوف والكوابيس والخيانة، ليلوم الخوف والكوابيس والخيانة، ونحنا قدامنا الصباح، نحنا قدامنا الصباح، نحنا قدامنا الصباح، نحنا قدامنا الصباح.